disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, my podcast partner, Mike Gibbs. What's happening, Mike?
What's going on, Gene? I would like you to refer to me as the last dragon, Mike Gibbs, during the next 3 episodes.
I don't know if
I
we're
have that glow, man. You gotta admit, I have that glow.
All right, man, whatever. But anyway, if this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Mondays, you got Raw with Mimi and Lump. Tuesday is CTE, Kristen Travis Experience. Wednesdays is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Gina Mike. And Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Mike, it's showtime.
Let's do it.
All right, so this week, people, we are reviewing The Last Dragon. Mike, this movie probably has the best soundtrack out of any martial arts movie ever.
No way. No way.
What are you talking about? Like, what movie has a better soundtrack than this?
Karate Kid, man.
Man, no. Hell no. I'm not letting you get away with it.
And they got real artists on there. Peter Cetera from Chicago doing the hook.
This is a Motown movie. Motown did the soundtrack. That's
why there was only one.
Oh my goodness, Mike. The music is nice in this. I'm not, the Karate Kid music is cool, you're the best around, but
that's it.
I mean, it was cool, it was cool.
Oh yeah, I love DeBarge. Chico DeBarge, come on.
All right, so this is The Last Dragon. I saw this movie in the 80s. I saw it on tape. I didn't go to the movie theater. I think this movie came out, 85 or 86?
I was going to ask you because I didn't look. I was wondering that.
I think 85.
Okay. That's the year I started martial arts.
Okay. I might have been in martial arts around that time for a hot second, with my uncle. But I was telling Trav that I peeped something out. This movie could have ended within the first 10 minutes. It could have ended easily. And when we get there, I'm gonna explain it to you. All right.
Okay.
So you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So the movie begins with Leroy. He's training with his master. His master is shooting arrows at him. That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I can't imagine if I'm working out and I had to dodge arrows, and he's, his master is shooting arrows. He breaks the first 2, and the third one he catches it. His master asked him, how did he know that was the blue one? And he responds, I don't know. His master rips his patch off of his shirt, right? Leroy falls to his knees and begs for forgiveness for his master. He thinks he did something wrong. But he should have known, right? He should have known that what he did was what he was supposed to do once he hit the final level. I would have thought that his master would explain that to him.
He didn't.
This guy, the master, I don't even think he even got a name through this movie. Do you know his name?
No.
Right. He reminded me of Master Splinter. That's who he reminded me of the whole time I'm watching it. I'm like, who is that? It's not Mr. Miyagi, but he reminds me of it's Splinter, the Ninja Turtles father / instructor. Anyway, Leroy falls to his knees, begs for forgiveness. His master tells him this isn't a punishment. He's reached the final level. Now, Leroy was confused, right? He thought that once you reach the final level, you would receive a glow. His master tells him that the final level is a return to the beginning. Now this part also always used to confuse me when I was younger because he opens up this closet, right? And in the closet there are a bunch of emblems, like in a circle, and
Right.
one was empty. And he told him that that's where the last dragon would go. So growing up, I used to think those were the patches, the symbols of other students of the master.
That's what
But
I assume too.
but this time, I think that those were all Leroy's patches, and now this was his. Now he
Like his black
completed the
belt.
circle. Yeah, he completed the circle.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
what the last dragon came into. So I peeped that out. This is the very first time, as many times I've seen this movie. This is the first time I understood it like that.
Right.
Um,
Well, I had it wrong too. That makes sense though.
yeah, I mean, and we all go through that as black belts. You know, we those little symbols represent belts. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
And then once you hit your black belt, even though you're still under your instructor's tutelage, but you don't need your instructor as much as you used to. And now you have to go off into the world and do your own thing. And we have all done that as black belts and instructors. You know, we started our own clubs, dojo, schools, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And then every now and then you go back to your instructor, you talk to him, you know, you get advice. But for some reason, this master was like, you know, don't call me your master anymore. I didn't get that, like why he was kind of pushing him away, almost like a mama bird pushing the baby bird out the nest.
Right.
You know. Any thoughts on that?
No, I had some black belts I want to push out the door.
Really?
Mm-hmm. All right, it's time to go.
Your own students.
All right,
well,
let's go.
Leroy is still confused. He feels like he needs more time to train. His master tells him that he is no longer his master. Leroy's master, he sees that Leroy is confused and frustrated, and he wants to help him, but he also realized that Leroy needs to figure this out on his own. So the master decides to send Leroy on a journey. He tells him to go to Sumdum Goy, and there he will find a master, the wisest master in the universe. And then he gives him, we eventually find out it's a belt buckle, but you know, he tells him it's a medallion and it was Bruce Lee's. He tells him to give this to the master. All right. Now Leroy is a little bit happy. What do you think of that? Do you think that was wise of the master to send him off on a? Well, later we find out it was a pointless journey.
Yeah, I think it was the test.
Hey, I just don't understand why he just didn't break stuff down for him. You know. Well, anyway, Leroy leaves. He's walking around New York, searching for the master. Now his master just sent him on a mission. And now you would think this mission is very important to Leroy, right? He is supposed to go out and find the master and give him this medallion. But what does Leroy do? He goes to the movies.
Right.
Why would you do that? You have a mission. You're supposed to be going to do something. Not only that, he goes to see Bruce Lee. He goes to see a Bruce Lee movie. I don't know. Maybe he thought he was going to get some ideas of where he could find the master or.
Well, why was he in the front row with that big hat on?
Man, he had
I would have made him move.
He had a hat
in the
made
front
out
row with that hat on.
Look, he had a hat made out of wicker, and he's walking around in a kung fu outfit, and sits right in the front row. Now, I'm gonna give. Okay, I'm not going. I can't be too hard on him because there are some other people in this movie theater that are dressed really, really weird.
Like the guys in the upper deck.
Yeah, man. This guy had like a halter top.
They were a little light in the loafers.
Yeah,
That's
man.
What I thought.
This guy, that guy. But I wouldn't even stayed in a movie theater like that That movie theater was extremely rowdy. Can you imagine going on a date and taking your girl there?
I just not even that. I can't. Well, I believe they were watching Enter the Dragon, right?
Yep.
How can they be that rowdy watching Enter the Dragon?
I mean, it's a Bruce Lee movie, you know, and you got to think of the time that they were in, man. These people, now I'm assuming these people had to have seen that movie before. It shouldn't even been in the theater, honestly. I mean, this is 85. That movie came out in what?
74?
10, 11 years earlier.
Yeah,
you
something
know?
like that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the movie situation was like back in the 80s. I don't know.
Well,
They just
maybe he thought he was, like you said. I think you might be onto something. He went to the movies to see if Bruce Lee can tell him the answer.
Yeah. So people are, talking loudly, they're yelling, playing music. And then when the guy played, I don't know why this guy decides to play this music. He pulls out this big boom box, turns it on. He starts breakdancing in the aisle. And then the guy turns around, he sees it, and he walks up and he jumps up and he smashes this radio. That would have caused a riot. That would have been a fight right there if somebody did that, But everybody started applauding that guy when he did that. Next thing you know, the movie stops and the show enough comes in.
Whew. Hey, what was that thing, man? Listen, I can't hold it in. I have to. What was a cheetah belt? Like the WCW World Champion cheetah belt? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, I did. I remember that big belt. I don't know, man. Like he was dressed. That whole game was dressed really, really weird. I don't know, man. Like I was a kid in the 80s, so I didn't experience rock and disco, So I just don't know, man. But I don't know if they was exaggerated. I don't know. I wonder if people really walked around like that.
I really think you're my brother, Gene. Honestly, because we have the same thoughts. Because I was watching it thinking, man, what the fuck do they have on? And then I'm like, man, this is a different era. It's like a mix of eras. So then I thought, and you're going to appreciate this. I said, this is the disco conversion to the 80s meets Cyndi Lauper rock and wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
I was like, damn.
Yep. So the gang comes in. They come marching in, and they were followed by Shonuff. And he comes in and he says this saying,
Shonuff?
Am I the meanest? Come on, Mike, help me out. Am I the meanest?
I'm not doing it.
You gonna leave me hanging? All right, fine. I'll do it myself.
Go ahead.
Shonuff? Am I the prettiest? Shonuff. Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town? Shonuff. Who am I? Shonuff. I can't hear you. Shonuff.
Danny Dixon
of Harlem. Then he looks up at the and signals for the movie to start, and then he tells one of his gang members, I think his name was Crunch, told him to find some seats. He goes, he finds seats, he finds their row. They're getting ready to sit down, and he hears the little kid. And the little kid says, I know who can beat you. And he says, who says that? Beast finds who says that. Beast finds the little kid. He grabs the little kid. He grabs him, he pulls him up, gives him the Shonuff. Shonuff asks him, who's better than the Shogun? And the kid says, Bruce Leroy. Now, this is the part where he is called Bruce Leroy. And this is the only time he is called Bruce Leroy. But for whatever reason, if you talk to any other person that have ever seen this movie, they consistently call him Bruce Leroy. I hate I hate that. Because it's a stupid nickname. So he walks over to Leroy, who's sitting there in his wicker hat, kung fu outfit, eating popcorn with chopsticks. And, he's trying to intimidate Leroy. He's throwing punches at him. He's saying something to him. I rewinded a couple times. I could not make out what he was saying to him. But he's heard rumors about Leroy. And he was saying that this is the type of stuff that gives Kung Fu a bad name. He heard rumors that Leroy can catch bullets with his teeth. Now, this part, like, I wonder who started that. Like, if Leroy told a couple of people, like, hey, I can catch some bullets with my teeth.
Or they watched him train and the instructor was shooting bullets at him or something, like he was the arrow.
You got a point there, but you know what? Anytime you do something for the first time, you mess up. There is no messing up if somebody is shooting a gun at you.
That's very true.
You got to catch that bullet the first time. But that's crazy. Like that, if that was a training, like Leroy should have left that instructor right then and there.
Yeah. Probably good chance.
Right. Now, this is the part where I've been saying, like, this movie could have been, as far as the problems with Sho'nuff and Leroy, could have ended right here. The whole purpose of Sho'nuff had been gone for a while because he said, I'm back. We don't know where he was or anything. Maybe in jail. Who knows? Right. Maybe he went to Hong Kong for some training. I don't know. Right. But he wants to fight Leroy. Now, Leroy doesn't want to stand up and fight. I said, why? Why is he asking him to fight? All he has to do is just punch Leroy in the face and fight's on.
Right.
And that was it. He would have got it. Like, he would have got his fight. Like, when have you ever asked somebody, come on, let's fight? Like, you just fight. You just do it. Like, why is the whole time Sho'nuff is asking him to fight? Like, why? Just punch him in his face. Just kick him. He's going to either sit there and get punched or he's going to block. And if he blocks, he's probably going to defend himself. And then that could have been the fight. Sho'nuff could have got the fight that he had been looking for.
It's very, I agree.
So now, as he's sitting there trying to get Leroy to stand up and fight. That's when he hears someone tells him to sit down and shut up. And it's your boys up in the balcony.
And my boys.
So then he said, what? I don't know what. And they stood up. They reiterated. They said, why don't you sit down and shut up? And they stood up, and one guy took his jacket off. And like people, when you see this part, it's funny because they look ridiculous, but they're trying to look tough. They're trying to look like some tough guys.
Dude had on like a pink halter top.
Yeah, exactly. But they weren't the only people that was frustrated with Sho'nuff. Sho'nuff says, whoever wants me to sit down and shut up, come down and make me. So then the guy who smashed the radio, he's feeling like a tough guy. Jeez. He decides that he wants to come down. Now
he got that work.
When he comes down, they show a transgender person. And the transgender person is I didn't know. Okay.
I thought that's
okay. I don't know. I didn't know because, she says, "Jack him up, baby." Sho'nuff was actually the one that was beating up this guy, right? And then she says, "Don't mess up the face, baby," because he was just ramming this guy's face into the stage.
It was like one of the most aggressive scenes of the whole movie. Like, I was like, damn, I didn't remember this as a kid. He's just beating the shit out of his head.
Yeah.
Off the stage.
Then he jumps on top of the stage and kicks the guy in the face. So that was the end of that guy. And he also rips out his hair out of the back of his head also. Then another guy jumps on the stage. He has a kung fu outfit. As soon as he jumps on the stage, he gets kicked off the stage. He's out of there. Then the two guys from the balcony, they come down, and as soon as they hit the stage, they get kicked in the face. Bam, they gone. And then someone else jumps off of the balcony onto the stage, and then they get kicked in the face. All of this, Sho'nuff sees Leroy walking out, and then he calls to him when he gets kicked in the chest. Now, I was thinking, like, what is this guy's problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, you sneak attack Show enough. So then Show enough jumps up. The guy throws a kick. He grabs his kick, takes him down to the ground. He starts trying to. It looked like he was trying to unscrew his foot from his leg.
Left, right, and then bit his shit.
Yeah, and then bit him. And that was the end of that guy. And then Show enough gets up and he tells Leroy, "This isn't over. He won't rest until everyone knows that Show enough is the master."
See, I had a problem with that right there. Why didn't you were warmed up. Why didn't you just go whoop Leroy's ass right then?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like they could have fought. They could have had the fight that they were looking for. Well, the fight that Show enough was looking for.
Yeah.
Do you think Leroy was scared of him?
I just think Leroy was put in that position by that little boy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what?
I did that to Darwin.
You did what? You pretended to be Show enough?
Quick story. Listen, I was at the Novi Mall, walking through, and I was going this way, like on the other side, but going the same direction. I see this guy in a leather Team Clown karate jacket, the yellow and black one, like the leather one. I said, "Who the hell is that?" And I couldn't see. So I kind of walked around the way, and they went into a store, and I looked, and it was Darwin.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat on across the aisle from the mall, and my son was probably 9, 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my son, I said, "You go up there and ask that man, does he know karate? And if he said yes, say, my daddy will beat your ass." So kind of similar to what the little boy did in Short Enough.
Right.
Man, I wish I had a video camera to see Darwin's face, because I thought he was going to throw my son over the ledge. Darwin looks at my son and looks at him and he was like, Darwin just literally said, "Who the fuck's your daddy?" To my son. And then I had to come around, and I'm like, man, he was like, "You're an asshole. You're an asshole."
Yeah, that sounds like Darwin. All right, next scene. So that was pretty good. Like that was entertaining for a first fight.
Yeah.
Especially when you compare it to some of our other movies that we watched. As far as this is the first 10 minutes of the movie. Next scene, we are introduced to Eddie Arcadian, Rock, and his girlfriend Angie. Eddie's girlfriend Angie. Rock is feeding something into what am I thinking of? A tank. There's some
tank. Something.
Yeah.
Green acid tank.
So he grabs some meat. It's like a leg of something, like a cow's leg or something. Pig's leg.
Yeah.
Grabs it, puts it into this water, and whatever's in there devours this thing. He pulls it up, and it's just a bone. What do you think he had in there? Like I was thinking, like maybe an alligator, but I don't know, man.
Some type of big piranha.
A big piranha? Yeah, something. I mean, that was. I don't know. I mean, that was pretty cool. But I don't know why they would have that thing. Like what?
Especially later when his face goes in it.
Yeah.
Don't do nothing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. His face should have came up. He should have been looking like that bone.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that thing in there was just like, no, that's my master. I'm not supposed to eat him. I'm not supposed to eat his face. So Eddie is watching TV, and he's watching Laura Charles. She has a show. It's like a disco rock show. Eddie wants Angie to be on the show. Angie's his girlfriend. She's also his artist, a singer.
Like a chubby Cyndi Lauper.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. That's exactly what I was thinking. I peeped something else out that I'm going to get to in just a second. Now, Rock is watching this also. He's a little jealous. Now, Rock was a boxer, and I guess Eddie was his manager, trainer, or whatever. And, Rock makes a comment that, you should have put this type of energy behind me when I was training. Maybe I could have been world champion. Eddie was like, well, you always lost. You lost every fight that I got you, But he believes in Angie, and he wants her to get her video played on Laura Child's Laura Charles's show.
Right.
Next, we see Laura. She's at her club. The club is called Seventh Heaven. Yeah, Vanity. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you know you loved her.
yeah. Everybody did. I
Yeah,
mean,
if you didn't love her, you had a problem.
yeah, yeah. She's shooting her show, and then she's playing the bar song. And that's pretty cool. Um, we go back and we see Eddie and Rock. Rock wants to he wants to handle the situation, but Eddie thinks that he can do it. He can do a better job. I guess Rock wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, and Eddie wants to wine and dine her in order to, talk with her to get Angie's video on the show. So Eddie said that he's going to take care of it. Now, back in Seventh Heaven, we see a man named JJ. He's trying to convince Laura to have this dinner meeting with Eddie, right? Now, I never peeked this out before, but this could have solved a lot of problems if they was paying attention. Laura does not say that she won't go to dinner with him. That's not what she says. Laura says that he's going to have to wait because the show is booked for the next 4 weeks. That JJ would have had to done was just say, okay, well, you can't do it this month, do it next month. We made an appointment for next month. That's it.
He wanted homeboy wanted his girl on there.
Yeah.
Sooner.
Wait, he could have waited. That's the music business. You just don't just say I'm gonna do something right now. You gotta plan stuff out. It's only 4 weeks. The show, she could have went to dinner. She could have explained that to him. Like, this is the show, this is the format, everything. We can, she hadn't even looked at the video yet because he asked her that. She hadn't seen it yet, so she didn't know how bad that video was. She just said that she can't do it right now, that she has to wait. Now, JJ feels like Eddie had a knife to his throat and he was going to slit his throat if she didn't play the video. That I don't know. Maybe Eddie should have. JJ should have put Eddie on the phone with Laura. Maybe they could have talked before things got out of hand. Not at that point, because she was getting ready to go on the show and she was getting ready to go out to do her performance. So he's trying to talk to her and try and get her to agree to something when she can't do it right then and there.
I'm kind of glad you don't produce movies.
Why? I will.
Because all movies would be like 20 minutes.
Nah, man. I'm just saying, man. I'm looking at the movie in a real life situation. I'm taking myself out of me on the couch watching the movie, and I'm putting myself into the movie as a real life.
That's your real world experience because you've been in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't even think that deep about it.
Yeah, just set an appointment. If you had a video and you wanted the video, and then it was going to cost. It was going to cost money.
Produce the video, right?
Well, the movie was already. The video was already made. Eddie already.
She showed them when they eventually took her. But,
right.
How long does it take to make a video?
It depends on how detailed you want that video to be. It could take you can shoot a video in a day, and then edit it up. But the video, under my impression, the video was already done. It was already made, and Eddie just wanted her to play it on the show. But even if she agreed, or he could have just said, "Okay, we're gonna pay you $10,000 to play it." They hadn't even got to that level yet. He just wanted to have the meeting.
Right.
That's all this was right here. It was just about the meeting. Eddie wanted to meet her. I think JJ should have put her on the phone with him after the show, not right then when she's about to go out and perform. That was that was stupid. So Laura goes out to perform. And she's singing. She also told JJ that maybe he needed to go to the police and tell them because JJ was pretty spooked. He thought he was gonna die. Laura goes out to perform. JJ calls Eddie and tells him that Laura has turned down the invitation. Um, then Laura is talking about a contest that she's going to have at Seventh Heaven, where the winner gets a date with her. And then that's when we're introduced to Richie. We see the little brother Richie in the audience. I don't like him. I don't.
Well, hold on, man.
I don't like him.
I was gonna say that's how I think Travis would be as a little brother.
Yeah, he wasn't this bad. He wasn't like that guy. No, this kid.
Michael Jordan stuff and.
No, Travis was an asshole, but this kid's a dickhead. Like I don't. It's a difference. It's a difference, man. This little kid, man. I don't know how old you think he is. I would say he was like maybe around 13.
I would say 12 or 13.
Yeah, okay, because he's walking around by himself a good portion of this movie.
Right.
But then again, times were a little bit different in the 80s. I don't know how much leeway. I can remember being on my grandmother's block and being 5, 6, 7 years old, walking down the street, walking all the way down to the corner. Now, like in the 80s, the neighborhood wasn't as bad as it is now, but it still was a little, it was a little funny. I used to get chased home from dogs all the time on the block. But I can't imagine letting my son walk all the way down and Champ is 7. I'm not letting him walk all the way down the block on my street now. He's not walking all the way down the block. I'm not letting that happen. So times is a little different. So now we see Richie, he's with his friends, and he's in love with Laura. That's his main squeeze. He, even though she's a grown woman, he has it in his mind that he's going to win the date, and he asks her for a kiss. She blows a kiss, and it went out through the screen, and he pretended to grab it, and whatever.
Poor Richie.
Huh?
Poor Richie.
Man, skip him. The next scene. We see Leroy. He's walking down the street. He's outside of Seventh Heaven, and he sees Laura. She sees him. She's signing autographs. She's talking to people. She's making her way to her limo. She sees as she gets in her limo. She sees Leroy just watching her, and she kind of smiles at him and winks at him, and she pulls off in her limo. Now she thinks that her limo driver Sal is in the car driving. It's not, someone else. So Eddie has taken over her limo. He sent some of his goons to kidnap her, pretty much. The limo pulls over to the side, and 3 other guys are about to get into the limo also. She tries to hop out. The guys grab her. They're trying to force her back in, and one guy's getting ready to hit her, and that's when Leroy shows up. And he beats all these guys up, all 3 of them. Some of these guys try to fight, and they don't do anything. Now, my thing was, one guy had a knife. None of them had guns. These are goons. These are thugs. These are gangsters, and they don't have, not one has a gun. You there, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. But I got a comment about this fight scene, though.
Go ahead.
It aggravated me. Did you see where, I don't know what happened, but you guys are on different sides. That's weird. Like, Travis was on the right, now you're on the, and you're, anyways. Did you see where at the end he, like, took his head and threw it, like, through a window where it should break through some glass, and there was no glass there? Mm-hmm. And the guy just held through the window. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there was supposed to be glass there.
Yeah. When and why would that guy have rolled down the window?
That's right.
So that there should have been glass there. But he impressed Laura with that fighting. Well, did you like that fight scene? I mean, those guys.
We've watched worse. We've watched worse. I mean,
what's up with Leroy? And he's doing
the noises.
The Bruce Lee. Do you know anyone else? Do you know anyone else that does that in fights?
People that tease you about knowing karate.
Yes, exactly. I mean, but any other martial artist, or is that stuff in any other movie? do you
I'm
know
just
of?
gonna say this because I hate the motherfucker. My cousin
Wait,
is a black belt. All my cousins are black belts. They all had black belts like when I started.
okay,
Right? They're the reasons why I started. There's 6 black belts. I make 7 in my family.
okay.
And he's an idiot. He's always like he came to I had a school at my house, like when I built my big barn and stuff, and I was
Uh-huh.
teaching out of there just like 3 years ago. And he making these stupid fucking noises, like planting himself down and whoa.
Was he being serious or was he
And
just
he's
playing
always
around?
thought he's Bruce Lee, man. He's
Uh,
watched The Last Dragon too many times. And
uh,
but he's a Detroit police officer out here thinking he's the last dragon.
hmm.
Yeah,
I don't even
but he's
know
the
what to say
only
about
one.
it.
He's the only one I've ever met that's ever done it.
Do you hate that when people who aren't in martial arts and they come up to you and they do that?
Or
Yeah,
they
me
wave their hands. Whoa!
Yeah, yeah,
Or show me. I hate the show me something.
yeah. You know what, man? I had I think did I talk about this on another podcast? I had a situation like that in school in 8th grade. This kid wanted me to he wanted me to do karate. He wanted me to show some karate. Now, my uncle always said I can't do any karate at school. My dad always said also. So I always thought if I did something, I'd get in trouble. So I never did anything. I didn't really have too many fights in school. That's me. It's not Travis. Travis, he had quite a few fights in the bathroom at school. I didn't, right?
But here, I bet you it's not because Travis was in karate. It's because Travis was an asshole.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of
It's
both.
his
right?
It goes back to his resting bitch face. his resting bitch face got him in fucking fights in the locker room.
He always says that people used to pick with him, so he used to always fight, and that was Trav, So that's
Travis, I will say this: once I got to know Travis, he was my favorite person.
But that's why, because Travis was always in fights, I did not want Travis to go to the same high school that I went. I talked to my mom. I remember that. I said, no, it's no way Trav can go to Redford. Redford was a public school, and Redford was a step below the school from Lean On Me. If you seen Lean On Me, you've seen that movie. I'm not playing. I'm 100% serious. Redford was like a step below that. So I knew that if Travis went to that school, I would be in fights and shootouts all the time. It was going to be something. So he had to go to another school, right? But anyway, back in 8th grade. So this kid, like he's always wanted me to do something. Like he never tried to fight me. He just wanted me to throw a kick or do a block. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. So one time, he took it to another level. He said he was leaving the classroom.
The same kid.
The same kid. Yeah. He said, Eugene. I looked up. He threw a pencil at me. And when he threw that pencil, it hit me in the forehead. And I snapped.
You gotta beat his ass.
I chased him. I'm running down the hall. He hits the steps. He's getting ready to run down the steps. Now, when he's running down the steps, he has to slow down. And when he did that, I caught up, and I'm at his back, and I'm about to do a flying side kick. Now, if I hit him with this side kick, he's either going to fall down the steps, fall into the wall, which was right in front of him, or fall out the window. And I didn't give a shit. I jumped up to throw the kick, and my teacher grabbed me and was like, Eugene, what are you doing? And I said, he just threw a pencil at me. So then she ended up bringing us both into the classroom and having a talk. But if I would have hit him with that sidekick, that flying sidekick, I would have been in some serious trouble. And he would have been seriously hurt, But that was the only time, I'm like, okay, he want to see some karate. I'm going to show him some karate. I'm going to hit him with this flying sidekick. And next time he going to think twice before he say something.
That's how you know Rick wasn't the master.
Rick's
not a master.
Why you say that?
Because if you'd have trained with Leroy's master, you'd have caught that pencil.
With my teeth.
Rick should have been throwing pencils at your head. You've been catching them, breaking them, just like Leroy.
Yeah, so so it's all good. That was the last time he asked to see any karate, but I don't think he knew what I was about to do because he wasn't looking at me. His back was to me, So I don't think he ever knew. Like I was like literally half of a second from extending my leg out. I was up in the air. I just had to put my leg out and extend it. and Humpty Dumpty would have had a bad fall. For real. He was a chubby little kid, so that's why I call him that. All right. Back to the movie. So Leroy beats these guys up. They ended up just leaving. They quit. They ran away. Leroy is helping Laura pick her things up. And as you can see, that there's some type of physical attraction between them. As he's helping her pick things up, he hails a cab and asks her again if she's all right. She says, yeah. Now, she doesn't know that they were sent by Eddie. She doesn't know what was going on. She doesn't know. She just thought that was just I guess, random kidnapping. And as she's talking, Leroy walks away. And I don't know why he did this. He just disappeared. He just vanished. Like, why didn't he make sure she got in the car, wave goodnight, have a good night, see you later, or ask for her number, something.
Or pay for the cab. Let me make
something.
sure you get home all right.
Right.
Because at this point, he don't know she's famous. He just thinks she's a random woman.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's right. I don't know. She was signing autographs.
Yeah, but
he could have just been like, who is she? Like, who is that?
Right.
And she was getting into a limo, in New York. I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen some girls get into limos at Trump's, and they wasn't like no,
right,
famous people.
Right, I feel you.
I don't know, man. Because he was like so shocked. That's what confused me. Because in my mind, I don't think he grasped. Leroy's kind of slow, man. I'm just gonna say it.
Why does he even talk the way he does? Like, why does he talk like that?
Because he's trying to be a master. but because when his brother, they're in the family in the dinner, in the kitchen or the dining room, he sees her on the TV and he's like in awe of who she is. So she wasn't that famous because even though she was getting in the limo and he went by her and they kind of made the eye contact, he wasn't realizing it. Like, you could have paid for the woman's cab.
Something. You get this.
Especially if she's making eye contact.
Right. She asked the cab driver if she knew where Leroy went. He didn't. She gets in the cabin and she finds the medallion. Leroy dropped the medallion as he was fighting these goons. The next scene, Eddie, Rock, and Angie, they are waiting for the goons to return with Laura. Angie is hungry. She's being impatient. Eddie makes her cry and says, as soon as Laura gets here, we'll be leaving. And then it cuts back to Leroy heading back to the scene looking for the medallion. Yeah. He looks around. He doesn't find it. And then the next scene after that, the goons return to Eddie, and they are exaggerating what happened. They tell him that she had 20-something bodyguards. They were all black. They had chains and clubs and pipes. And, Eddie thinks, okay, all right, well, she's taking things to another level. And he tells Rock to get involved. And, he gives him a shot to go and get her. What did you think about that, Mike?
That underlining racial profiling?
I guess they just kind of wanted to make it seem like it was harder by it being 20 black dudes.
They didn't say ninjas. They could have said 20 ninjas. It's a martial arts movie.
Yeah, but I don't think in this world I don't think they believe that ninjas exist.
All right, it could have been 20 anything.
Anything, right? The next scene, we got Leroy in his school. So now we find out that Leroy has his own dojo school. What do you call it? You call it a karate school? You call it a dojo? What do you call it?
So my black belt is in my highest ranking black belt is in Tung Sudo. So it's a dojang, and then I have a black belt in Japanese style, so it's dojo. I just call it martial arts studio. Like if people come in, so your uncle is the one that got me to go away from the terminology.
Okay, because we don't say I don't say dojo. I barely say gi. I always say uniform.
Right. Well, when I started with you guys, I was like, man, this is very like It's no Chariot Kinye. It's no Kyosuke Ray.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
It's not Anjo Makyum. It's not. We're not counting in jet. And I asked him one day. How come? Especially with you having a Taekwondo black belt in the Korean, and he just broke it down for me.
Well, yeah,
and
that's why
it makes total sense.
But
and
that's
to be
why.
honest with you, I go in and I had another instructor who did the whole Japanese thing, and I watch martial arts studios because I go to a lot of them, and the ones that teach the English have the better, or do everything in English, have the better program. I mean, people, it's already foreign concept. I'm going to go into a martial arts studio and put on a set of pajamas. It's already uncomfortable for people. And then now you're going to talk a crazy language to me that I don't understand. It's just another level of uncomfortableness that's not needed. So
I got it.
He's the one that really taught me how to using it. So I always say karate martial arts studio. So when I did my paperwork with the county and got my licensing and everything, I did the studio.
Okay.
I had to use the studio.
My business, I call it Jump Kick Martial Arts Club, studio, school, I all the same. I don't really say dojo. I don't know, man. Our style, like I don't even consider myself a Taekwondo martial artist because he always told us our style was American freestyle karate.
Right.
And that's why, that's what we go by, and we don't use Korean terminology really, we don't count in Korean, so I tell people that our foundation with our forms
on Taekwondo
is based on Taekwondo, but I said, it's Americanized, So that's okay, cool. That's what I was wondering, man. Okay, so we get to the part where Leroy is in his school, and it looks like his students are saying the student creed, their student creed.
Right.
Once the student creed is finished, the students jump up and then they just start freestyle working out. They, people look like they paired off and they start doing kicks and punches at each other. And then, Leroy's walking around and he sees one of his students, Johnny, who is running around making noises, throwing kicks and punches, and his technique looks absolutely horrible. Leroy asks him what's he doing, and Johnny tells him that he is mastering the art of fighting without knowing how to fight. He feels that people he says Oriental. People are scared of Oriental people. We know now we don't really use that terminology. We say Asian, but he feels that people were scared of based on the old martial arts movie. So he thinks that he can scare people when he's fighting. So he starts doing all of these crazy moves and noises, and then he looks at his opponent that he's working with, and he's getting ready to attack him, and his partner just kicks him in the head, lays him out. Boom. He's done. Leroy bends down to talk to him, and that's when Show Enough busts in his school. So disrespectful. He don't care. What did you think about this part of the movie?
It's just so real.
Real?
It's so real because I had crazy people come in my school.
A gang? You had a gang of
I had a gang of probably 3 people come in one time, and they wanted to spar.
Now, were they actual martial artists, or were they just they were?
They're martial artists from, I won't say who they were or where they were at, but they were probably 15 minutes from me.
Okay.
They were on like the northern side of town.
Okay. So sure enough, he found the school. He says the sign outside says to teach martial arts lesson. He wanted Leroy to teach him something, and he gets into a fighting stance. Once again, another part. Like all he had to do, he just hit him. Fights on. Leroy says, "I do not wish to fight you," and he says, "Who you wish to fight?" He points to some of the fellas, and then he says, "Maybe some of the ladies." Now the ladies surround him, and they're throwing punches and kicks at him. And then one of them hits him. And when that happens, he jumps into the fighting stance. And then that's when Sure Enough gets into his fighting stance. That was another chance for the fight to happen. right then and there. Sho'nuff should have hit him. But then Leroy gets up and bows. And then, Sho'nuff was proud of that. What do you got to say about this part?
I didn't like it.
You didn't? Why not?
Like that whole scene. It's so unnecessary.
No, I liked it.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh.
Because
it should have been like a super battle, I think. To like something ending like in a tie. To build up the final fight scene. You know how like everyone's like and then like boom. And then something stops it, hyping up the final scene.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't nothing really dramatic to it.
Now when he bows,
Now you can't be a producer, Gene, but I can be a producer.
I can produce and I can write. Now when he gets hit in the face, Sho'nuff steps up and says, "That's right, bow down to your master." Now he bowed once, but he does not want to bow again. And they grab his head. They're trying to make him bow. I don't understand. Like they are physically touching him now. Like I don't understand why
he's not fighting.
Yeah, why he did not fight or defend himself.
Right. Or why didn't his students do anything?
Yeah. Well, we are going to get to that in just a second. So Sho'nuff wants Leroy to kiss his Converse. And, they're trying to make him do that. Now that's just, he should have just hit him. He should have just did something. Like that's just borderline. That's disrespectful. Kiss your Converse?
Hold on, putting your hands on me is disrespectful.
Yeah, but man. So his student is watching. Johnny is watching all of this, and this idiot.
I hate that kid.
he decides to jump into it. He decides he wants to get involved. For some reason, he thinks that they're going to be scared of him. And he says, if you want to fight, you fight me. He called him Rick James. He called Sho'nuff Rick James. And, Sho'nuff just sicks Beast on him and says, Beast get him. And then Johnny just takes off. He's running. And they eventually catch up to him. And they're about to snap his neck. They got him in a chokehold. Then they tell him, Leroy, that now, you got to bow down, kiss my Converse. Leroy bends down and to kiss Sho'nuff's shoe, and Sho'nuff kicks him in the face. Once again, Leroy should have lost students. he should have lost students right there. Like all of those kids that are standing around watching. How would you feel? Like, how would you look at your instructor? Like I would have lost respect for this guy. Like you're teaching us self-defense. Now we're being attacked and you are not defending yourself.
It's almost like he was training them to be monks and not martial artists.
I don't know too much about monks. I just know they don't.
Like the nonviolent philosophy and how soft-spoken and weird he was.
What is the purpose of catching bullets with your teeth if you're not going to, why learn that type of stuff?
Wow.
And then to get kicked in the face in front of your students, you have now embarrassed yourself
in the school,
in your school. Like you weren't out on the street, you wasn't at somebody else's gym.
You wasn't at a tournament loss. You took the L in the school.
He has to be embarrassed. And then after that, Sho'nuff, his crew decides to walk out and leave. Leroy says,
I'm so stupid though, Gene. I'm gonna be honest with you. That whole scene, you know what I was looking at?
No.
His school. I'm looking at the floor. I'm looking at the weapons in the corner. I'm like, man, what? So what was the floor like in the gym? Because I didn't train with you guys when you guys were at 7 Mile. I heard about 7 Mile. What was it? Just carpet?
It was a thin layer of carpet, and it was concrete underneath.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. It was no mats. Yeah, that was it, man. And this was not like fluffy carpet. Like this carpet was like almost like a
Like a
rug.
commercial grade carpet.
Yeah, this it was rough, man. Like when we had to do those push-ups, when me and Trav had to do those 175 push-ups, man. I rubbed off all of the skin that was on my knuckles. Like I was bleeding, you know.
Right.
When you fall down and you get back up and it hurt a little bit, you get back up and keep banging, So
Because
wasn't no
this
air
sounds
conditioning. It wasn't no air conditioning. We used to have the door open and we had a fan that used to rotate.
Yeah.
That was it.
And I look at Karate Kid was made the same time, and look how nice the Cobra Kai dojo was.
Yeah, but you know
Leroy's
what?
dojo was booty.
Yeah, well, I mean, Leroy's dojo, his karate school was in Harlem. The Cobra Kai was like in Encino or something.
Encino, California. True.
So
True.
let's get ready to wrap this up, man.
All right.
Let's stop. Matter of fact, let's stop it right here. I got a couple things I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So we will do the next half or the next part of Last Dragon next week. We'll see what happens with Leroy and Laura and becoming a master.
Get the kiss coming.
Let me ask you this, man. So working with my students, and we never been a forms karate school, right? Mm-hmm. How do you see the kids that grew up with me, Travis, Ski, James, Kimby, Pete, Andre, all of us had a little bit of ham in us, right? And we like showing off, especially Travis. He was more, he had more ham than anybody.
Travis is sweet with forms, man.
Hey, why? Because he used to he used to cut his hair off and rub his head before he did the splits.
It's sweet.
Let me ask you this.
Hey, how long ago? Exactly, he won. How long ago? But here,
I remember.
How long ago was that?
That's over 30 years ago. About 30 years ago.
3 decades later, we're still talking about Travis's performance. It might just be 10 of us, motherfuckers.
I remember.
We're still talking about the shit.
I remember Michael Adams was pissed. You know Michael Adams?
Yeah.
Michael Adams, Ebony Adams' brother. I was standing there. Yep. I don't know where Travis was, but he was running late. He was running late to his division and I think to the tournament also. And Michael did his form, and it was just about the division was just about over. Travis came running in and handed his card in to do his form and got out there and did this form. And he was just loud, and he was making his crazy facial expressions, like he used to look like the Chicago Bulls logo. That's his facial expression they used to have, right? And Travis ended up winning, and Mike was like, "How?" Like, and it was all about the energy that he had. He didn't have better technique, and the form was not better than Michael. But the fact that he had that energy and that ham in him when he was doing the form helped push him over to win the division, right? So my question to you, because I know that you've worked with a lot of forums people, like how do you put that animation and that attitude in students to make them elevate themselves? I'm talking about beginners as they're doing the form, because right now when I teach forms, I am more concerned with them knowing the pattern, right? And once they know the pattern, then I start looking at the other things like the stances and the technique and the power. But I do not know how to I don't know if it's this generation of kids. I don't know how to put that energy into the kids as they're doing their forms. Like, how do I get them to be animated?
I teach them backwards.
Oh, so, man, wait.
So not backwards in the sense of the way the form's done.
Okay.
I teach them speed. So I'm like, turn the low block, punch, turn the low block, punch, turn the low block, punch, ah. I teach it like that. Okay. Like bam, 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 bam. And then once they're going animated and they're fast, I'll slow it down.
I got you.
I don't teach. I don't care if they're sloppy. As long as they're being fast, animated, and power, that's good. Now, with that, though, you get some kids that shit the bed and you can never correct them. And those are just your kids that just aren't going to get it, right? And they're too young. I got some adults that are like that shit. I mean, that's just how I teach it with the young ones. But this is part of the thing. I understand we made karate tournaments, at least in this area, speed up. And there's no introductions and things like that. But I used to teach my kids from the minute you sit there to when you stand up to how you approach, how you bow into the ring, you're performing. Mm-hmm. You're upbeat. You're winning right there. I say it's just like anything. I feel like even with work, you open a presentation, someone reading your presentation should get the gist of it within the first 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a Pareto of data or it's information, you want them to grasp it in the first 10 seconds. I want the judges to say, oh, this kid's got it in the first 5 moves. So, okay. I used to teach them that way from a sport karate perspective. When the judge is over in the first 5 moves, with your demeanor, with, how you start and finish how you start. But as far as just the kids in the school, I teach them that, like that pace. And then I slow it down and try to work on critiquing it. Kind of what you said, things like that, especially when I'm teaching weapons and things like that. But I got to tell you a story, though.
I was about this close. I was about this close to just say, you know what? I'm going to have to hire an acting coach to come in here with these kids to teach them how to be more animated, work on facial expressions and things like that.
One thing I've always found out too is like, so my classes, I'm very basic, man. So you warm up, you stretch. We do some type of basic actions up and down the floor. And then one thing I found out is I would go into forms. And it would be that lacklusterness of repetitiveness. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing forms. And then I would do like some bag work or, partner drills or whatever the case may be. When I put bag work and like partner drills or anything like kind of more upbeat, and then I finished with forms, their enthusiasm was better. Okay. So I don't know if where you're teaching forms maybe in your curriculum, but I always found that if I didn't back it up from doing basics or stances up and down the floor or whatever the case may be, if I backed it up with an activity first that kind of got them pumped, it kind of carried over into the form. And forms is, I hate teaching forms, to be honest with you. Like,
I'm surprised to hear that.
People used to, like your uncle had me teach the bow at his school. And I'm like, I hate it. I hate it because it's just, I don't know, man. I just don't like teaching it. It's, especially, I think it's bad enough, like, so I do the Okinawan Kabuto weaponry. So I teach somebody a front stance is, and everyone wants to learn weapons at like green belt or purple belts or something like that. You know, your shoulders are square, 10 toes forward, back leg locked, front knee bent, over the front foot. And then as a green belt or even a novice, I'm going to teach you a bow where your shoulders are now at a 45, your heels are lined up. It's totally, I don't like teaching. I shouldn't say I don't like teaching the bow. I don't like teaching the bow when most people want to learn the bow.
When do you when do you want to teach them? Like when they're red belts, red belt, blue belts?
Yeah.
Well, that's our. I don't know your belt. I don't know your belt system.
It's just like Korean. It's the Korean system. Same way.
You have brown belt?
I have red belt.
Okay, we do too. We don't have brown belt. Okay.
Now my Japanese style, I learned we had brown belt.
Okay.
But yeah. So, but I got a story about another one of our fellow friends.
Okay.
Ski. So we're talking about Travis doing forms, Ski doing forms one time.
Yeah.
And I think we were at Steve McVicker's event for some reason. I don't know why I want to say that. We were in Canada. I know this. And Ski beat me in weapons. And it was the only time he had beat me. I was so pissed. I broke my bow. I snapped it over my knee. I was so pissed.
Why?
Because he beat me. Fuck you
But,
mean why?
I mean,
He never did weapons, and I was winning. I was beating people.
Yeah. Oh, so that was your
And
one
then he
thing.
came in, and then he on
You,
top of it with his
you,
fucking attitude.
so wait,
made
so
it
you
100 times worse. So I broke the bow. I broke
so
it
you
over my knee.
so
And I
you
was
were
sitting
like,
over there. Listen, I wanted to fight him. So I'm pissed. I'm sitting over at the end of the. Now we're training together this time. I'm sitting at the end of the steps, sitting there, and he comes by, and he was taps me on my shoulder, like, come by with that, and he was like, "Don't worry, big fella, I'm gonna beat you in the grands too." I was like, this motherfucker. Yeah, that's why when I used to hang out with him, I used to try to give him alcohol poisoning and hope he died. He pissed me off, man. I always try to get him so wasted.
So you were like, wait, this is my division. You know, you got fighting, but you're in my world now. Did he ever?
Well, no, I'll be real honest with you. You know, Dan Kuzno was the man. But Dan, for whatever reason, was not in this tournament. So I'm like, shit, this is an easy money. And then he beat me. I was so pissed because I had that money spent.
Oh, I hate that. Oh,
I had that
man.
money spent in my mind. And I was so pissed I broke my bow. Like I was.
You know what? I know that feeling. That's why you broke the bow, because you was mad about the money being spent.
Oh yeah, but
yeah.
And then it was him. And then the comment, "Oh, don't worry, big fella, I'm gonna get you in that grand too." Okay. I think I lost to somebody that day. I think it was Jocelyn. The Jocelyn kid. Travis remember his name. Was it Rick Jocelyn? I think yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I was pissed. That was a bad day.
How long ago was that?
Man. I don't know. I had to be at least 20, so like 24 years, something like that.
Oh, so this is like around 97, 96
yeah.
time.
Early, long time ago, yeah.
So this was like around the time when you started coming around.
Yeah, and he had just came. You guys might have still been in school because he had his dreads.
Oh yeah, that was in school then. Okay, if he had dreads, because he started that then.
Yeah.
At school.
Hey, usually I don't interrupt, but there's a rumor going around that November 8th, 2020 at the MGM Grand Arena, Manny Pacquiao was going to fight Triple G.
Triple G's going to kill him. Do you know who Triple G's trainer is, right?
Huh?
Do you know who Triple G's trainer is, right?
Who?
Jonathan Banks from Kronk.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill him. I don't.
Jonathan has got Triple G right. I talked to Jonathan probably like 2 months ago, and Triple G's about to explode, man. He's fighting that Kronk style. It's over.
I don't think there's going to be any big events this year. I don't think anybody should be. Did you say 2020 travel or 2021?
2020.
Yeah, I just can't see any big events going on this year.
I don't think we're gonna play football.
I think basketball is going to start, and I think basketball is going to end within about a month and a half of the season starting. I think too many people are going to be. Did you just hear? I just heard that one of the basketball players was trying to get an Instagram model to come to his hotel room. Like, come on. Like, but you got to think, man, these guys are supposed to be in a bubble for 3 months without their family, without women. Like, come on. And they're in Florida. Come on, man. Yeah. I just can't see them getting to October without anyone getting affected.
Well, so I'll just say that, something we're passionate about is professional wrestling. How are these professional wrestlers not positive?
I mean, it's a good
sitting and sweating on each other.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Well, the WWE just had 30 people just got tested positive. 30. Now, the WWE was not testing their people. They were just, testing people's temperature and letting them in. That was it. They wasn't testing them for the virus.
They weren't testing for the virus?
No,
They were
WWE
just
wasn't.
doing temperature checks?
That was it. That's why
Oh, shit.
That's why all those people got sick. Now,
wow.
AEW tests for the virus. They've been testing. WWE doesn't. WWE was not letting people wear masks. Vince is like Trump. He doesn't believe that people get sick, and
They're best friends.
Yeah, I know. So that's why they are in the situation that they're in. I mean, you had 30 people get sick.
I'm gonna say something horrible.
I
mean, it sounds.
I gotta brace myself.
It sounds horrible.
Okay.
But imagine, because people have lost their life, so I don't want to downplay this.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if this killed at a higher ratio. These fucking people would still act the same way.
Oh, I would hope not. No,
they would. I'm telling you, they would. This younger generation give zero fucks.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's insane.
Insane.
We're lucky. We're lucky as a society and a world. That, and I'm not downplaying anyone that's died or lost someone. But we're lucky it don't kill at a higher ratio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky. We're very lucky because there's a lot of fucking idiots in the world, and that's what this has proved. There's a lot of people that are so disconnected with reality. That's what this has proved.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people that live in their own bubble, no pun intended, that just don't give a fuck about anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it. I don't want people around my dad. He's 71, 72. It's insane to me, man. I don't see us having football.
Nah.
Oh, well, here's the thing. The Lions keep blowing us up about our season tickets. I'm
what?
Like, yes. Daily, my sales guy I've had, keeps calling me to buy season tickets. I said, I will think about tickets when you tell me if you're going to have fans. I said, you can't even tell me you're going to have fans.
That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make any sense at all.
I'll send you the fucking emails that I get still and the phone calls. I'm like, don't call me again until you can tell me if there's going to be fans in the studio or in the stadium and if I'm going to sit next to somebody or not. I mean, I'm not going any fucking way, but like, man, I sit at home, man. I don't go nowhere. I still don't go nowhere. I go to work because they make me.
Yeah, I go to work and I teach my classes, and most of the time I'm home. And
I'll go to Walmart or do whatever. I'm not out here.
Yeah, of course.
Shit, that's it. And then in Michigan, you guys just got him back up with all the masks and stuff, and they're wanting to kill her. There's people out. You should read. So, if you just want to get a perspective of how crazy different people are in the world, go on my page. Because I have a Hispanic community, I have an Asian community, I have hillbilly ass people around here, I have my country ass family that's in the country, then I got my family that's in the city, I got people that are in the military, people that are in law enforcement, like I mentioned. You will see all kinds of different fucking views. I didn't realize how many people I know or I'm friends with or acquaintances or even my own relatives that are so fucked up in different views than, and maybe I'm fucked up, but different views than me. I can't believe it. And that's why I hate social media, because it gives them a platform for their stupidity.
Yep. Yeah. I just no problem, man. No problem. I just put my head down to try and ignore all of that ignorance. I don't want to get my blood pressure up, man. I don't know how my uncle deals with it, because he be debating people all the time on Facebook, and I'm
people, like, listen. I love that man. I love him. There's some people I want to fuck up when I see them for some of the shit they've said. There's some promoters of crowdy tournaments I want to fuck up.
You know what, man?
National
I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. I know you. I believe you. All right, man. This we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap it up. Like I said, we're gonna do the next part of Last Dragon next week, people. Also, Mike, I got our new poll. So I'm gonna put this poll up. It's gonna go out for next week. So next week we're gonna do the next part of Last Dragon, and we're also gonna have a third week of Last Dragon. And we're gonna break this down into 3 because there's just so much with this movie. And on the third review of Last Dragon, we're also gonna do the first half review of one of these next movies. So here are the movies. Mike, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. We got Red Belt. We got Romeo Must Die, and we got Rumble in the Bronx.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
We're gonna do Red Belt.
Oh, we're gonna let the people. We're gonna let the people decide, man. We gotta let the people decide, man.
No, man. I'm going on vacation. I'm putting my.
What is wrong with Red Belt? Might win, Mike.
Red Belt is gonna win because I'm gonna pull every motherfucker I know to vote.
What is wrong with Romeo Must Die and Rumble in the Bronx?
Everything.
You don't like neither one of those movies?
Neither fucking one of them.
Really? I'm surprised.
Why are you surprised? I don't like that shit.
Those are not bad. I don't.
Right, first off, let's just throw Rocky and Rambo in there too.
No. These are still martial arts movies, man. These are still martial arts movies. Man. I like Romeo.
You were the kid. Let me tell you who you were. No offense to anyone that listens to our show, but you were the guy that stood there and watched the Kung Fu division.
No.
Yes, you were.
No.
Yes,
Hell no.
You secretly wanted to do Kung Fu.
These are not.
You secretly wanted to do the soft sword.
Hell no. That's not what
foil. You wanted to do the aluminum foil sword.
No, hell no. You must never saw Romeo Must Die. That has DMX. That has Aaliyah. It has Jet Li. That has a lot.
I hate Jet Li. I hate
Jet Li. Did you like Jet Li and Lethal Weapon?
No.
Oh my God, Mike! Jet Li was sweet as hell in Lethal Weapon.
I don't like Lethal Weapon.
What? None of them. 1 through 4.
I rather watch. Hey, I rather watch It Man. I rather watch It Man on rerun.
Oh my man! What is wrong with Lethal Weapon? I've never heard anyone say that they don't like Lethal Weapon. You're the first person I've ever heard. Wow, really? Mm-hmm. And you don't like Jet Li. So that means. So you also.
So that means we're watching Red Belt.
So you don't like Jackie Chan either?
No.
Why not? What's your beef with them? What's your beef?
The stupid comedy.
Jet Li is no comedy in Romeo Must Die.
No, I'm talking about
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan. Yeah.
I agree. He does have a lot of comedic movies. You didn't like Rush Hour?
Well, I like Rush Hour though. Can we put Rush Hour in?
Not right now, Mike. We're gonna let the people decide. Red Belt, Romeo Must Die, Rumble in the Bronx. I've seen all of them. I've seen
Rumble in the Bronx ain't horrible, I guess.
I really, you know what? Rumble in the Bronx, I saw that when it first came out and haven't seen it since. Romeo Must Die, I've seen that a couple times. Red Belt, I've seen one time. So I know I can get through any. I don't really care which movie wins.
Man, we watched that Bruce Lee movie, man. I can get through any of those. I'm a man up. I was being a little high maintenance. I'm a man up.
It's not Way of the Dragon, man. This is nothing like Way of the Dragon. These are all decent movies, man.
You're right.
So we're gonna let you guys decide. When you guys hear this podcast, the survey will be up. I'm gonna put it out tomorrow. Today, whenever you're listening to it, it will be up. Go vote on which movie you want us to review next. You're going to have a whole week this time to decide which movie wins. You got anything else, Mike?
No, that's it.
Okay, so once again, we will continue with our Last Dragon review next week. And then also make sure you guys go out and vote. which movie we are going to review next: Red Belt, Romeo Must Die, or Rumble in the Bronx. Nothing else for everyone here at the Martial Arts Internet Work. For Travis Plowden, our producer, make sure you check us out once again on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And we will see you guys next week. Stay strong, stay healthy. Talk to you later.